In today's lesson, we will cover measurement scales. Measurement scales describe the type of information provided by data for different variables. There are 4 scales of measurement: nominal, ordinal, ratio, and interval. It is important to note that nominal and ordinal are scales of measurement for qualitative data, and interval and ratio are scales of measurement for quantitative data. Nominal scale classifies data into categories in which no order or ranking can be imposed. For example, if we had a variable that could take on a specific state from all of the possible US states, we can see that this is qualitative data and there is no intrinsic ranking or natural order to our data. So we would say that this scale of measurement is nominal. Ordinal scale classifies data into categories that can be ordered or ranked. If we were interested in the credit score of a person, where our variable could either take on excellent, average, or poor, where excellent, average, or poor are our categories, this is qualitative data, it is categorical, and in this specific case, there is a natural order. So we would say that this scale of measurement is ordinal. Interval scale classifies data that can be ordered or ranked and where the differences are meaningful, but there's no meaningful zero. So our ratios will be meaningless. Now this can be a little tricky to understand, so the best example to use to explain this is the temperature example. Let us assume that we're interested in measuring temperature in degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit, where our temperatures are 21 degrees Celsius, 42 degrees Celsius, and 52 degrees Celsius. Now we can see that the difference between 21 degrees and 42 degrees is 21 degrees, and 42 degrees and 52 degrees is 10 degrees Celsius. So this tells us that our differences are meaningful. However, are our ratios meaningful? That is, if we take 42 and divide it by 21, we get the number 2. And what this is telling us, if our ratios are meaningful, is that it is twice as hot at 42 degrees Celsius than it is at 21 degrees Celsius. Is this true? And the answer is no. The reason for this is because we do not have a meaningful zero. When we're measuring temperature in degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit, the lowest possible temperature is in fact not 0 degrees Celsius. And this tells us that 0 is not meaningful. Instead, what we have is something called absolute zero, where the lowest possible temperature, theoretically, is negative 459.67 degrees Fahrenheit and negative 273.15 degrees Celsius. Now you may have noticed that I keep saying measured in degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason for this is because we can also measure temperature in Kelvin. If you're measuring temperature in Kelvin, the absolute zero is in fact 0. So the lowest possible temperature is 0, which tells us that 0 is meaningful, and so our ratios will be meaningful. So please do not get tricked. If you're measuring temperature in Celsius or Fahrenheit, the scale of measurement will be interval. However, if you're measuring in Kelvin, the scale of measurement is actually ratio. Ratio scale classifies data that can be ordered and where differences and ratios are meaningful. So there is a natural zero or a meaningful zero. To explain ratio scale, I'm going to use the speed that a car travels. Let us assume that there are 2 cars racing, where the blue car is traveling at 120 kilometers per hour and the red car is traveling at 180 kilometers per hour. Can we say that the red car is traveling 60 kilometers per hour faster than the blue car? Yes, we can, and this tells us that differences are meaningful. However, if we take 180 and divide it by 120, we get the answer 1.5. And this is telling us that the red car is traveling 1.5 times faster than the blue car. Is this in fact true? Yes, it is. And the reason for this is because the lowest possible speed that a car can travel is 0 kilometers per hour. So the car will be stationary. This tells us that 0 is meaningful. For a variable that is storing information about the speed of a car, the measurement scale will be ratio. If you found this lesson helpful, please like this video and hit that subscribe button down below.